Should you eat before working out? It's one of the most common questions that's asked around morning workouts. And whether you do have a morning workout routine in place or you're looking to get started, that's probably something that you've got on your mind. In this video, we're going to talk about when you might want to consider eating before working out and when it's better to wait until afterwards. Your health is one of the most important aspects of what's under your control. And so that's why it's important that we want to talk about this topic, regardless of whatever activity you find flow in on a daily basis. It's important and a key factor in getting your health dialed in more. And that's why workouts and nutrition are so important when it comes to finding your flow. And so when it comes to morning workouts, it's not surprising to see that the opinions around nutrition are just as polarized as any other topic that you might see in nutrition and in the field. Some people strongly believe that you should go into every workout with some food in your stomach, and others believe that you should wait until after a morning workout and train fasted each and every time. And so because I've followed both approaches in my own training for quite a few years, I'm going to share with you both sides of the coin today so that you can make your own informed decisions on what's going to work best for you based on your goals and your own body. So first up, let's talk about why you might want to not eat before working out. And fasting is definitely one of those buzzwords that shoots up in a lot of the fad nutrition plans that we see, and it can come and go really quickly as it gets popularized with the media. But there are some benefits to fasted workouts in the morning, so let's touch on those first. There are a lot of benefits to restricting the time in which we eat throughout the day, and it primarily comes from this term of metabolic flexibility, which refers to how well our bodies can shift from using carbohydrates for fuel to burning more fats for fuel. It's the difference in the hormones in our system when we haven't eaten in a while, especially upon waking up after that longer fasting window of overnight, in which our bodies are better able to use fats for fuel and for energy rather than just depending on carbohydrates. So for anybody looking to lose weight, this metabolic flexibility can be advantageous, as once all of the readily available energy in our system has been used up, our bodies can then release the fat from our fat cells in order to burn for more energy. The primary hormonal difference here is that insulin is much lower after a prolonged fasted period or when we haven't eaten in a while, and insulin, being an anabolic hormone, tends to promote more storage of fat in fat cells. When it's lower, it makes it easier for the fat cells to release fat for energy. And then another reason we want to promote metabolic flexibility is not only for this ability of our body to adapt to using either carbs or fats for fuel, but it's also been associated with better health and longevity. So that's why it's important to consider whatever your goal is and why you might want to improve your metabolic flexibility. And then often the most important reason for avoiding eating before a morning workout is for comfort. A lot of people find that depending on what exercises you do, it may be too much pressure or discomfort in your stomach if you've got a lot of food in your system. And so often it can be easier to just go into the workout in a fasted state or without a meal beforehand, especially if it's something where you're going to be using a belt for lifting or doing heavy lifts like deadlifts. I personally find that it can be pretty discomforting to have a lot of food in my system if I'm going into lifts like that. So now let's talk about why you might want to eat before your morning workouts and why some people are against going into training on a fasted state. Because hard training can take a lot out of you, some people find that it's easier to get into a new workout routine, especially if you are a beginner or it's been a long time since you've trained. You may want to have some fuel in your system so that you don't feel really uneasy or queasy with going into a workout, especially if you're working very hard. Sometimes, going back to the whole discussion on metabolic flexibility, which we talked about as a reason for why you may want to avoid eating before training, if your body has been used to using stored carbohydrates or burning glucose only for your energy sources, it can be a bit of a transition period and a challenge for your body to get used to using stored fats for fuel. And so you may go into a lot of your workouts in the first few weeks or maybe a couple of months with less energy or less optimal energy than you want. And this can be a reason why you may want to include having some food at least before going into those morning workouts. It's definitely not a good feeling to get that lightheadedness or nausea that comes with low blood sugar if you're not used to training so hard. And so even if you don't have your meal necessarily before your morning workout, I recommend that if you're new to training or getting back into it, definitely have a snack or a light meal on hand, or even some sort of drink that's got some calories in it, so that you've got something that can help you to bounce back if you do find that you are feeling a little bit uneasy or unwell from pushing really hard in your workout. And something else to mention here is, depending on if you're shifting your routine and your schedule to include those morning workouts, sleep and our sleep quality can really impact our blood sugar levels. So if you're going into a morning workout with less than ideal sleep, you may find blood sugar fluctuations to be greater, in which case you also might want to have some snacks or something with some sugar on hand in order to bounce back if you do feel that low blood sugar crash come on due to sleep issues, whether this is ongoing issue or something that just happens once or occasionally. And then the other big reason that you may want to include food before your morning workouts is if you're going into a strength or muscle building phase and you want to promote as much strength gain or promote as much muscle building as possible. Because training is catabolic, you may not want to go into it with a prolonged fasted state where you're breaking down even further if your ultimate goal or your primary goal at the time is to focus on building muscle or gaining strength. Especially when it comes to strength training, often those sessions are several hours in length, and you may need some extra fuel in your system to keep pushing at your maximal performance for that long-term training. So make sure that you've got some food on hand if you haven't eaten before going into a longer strength training session. So what should you eat before your morning workouts? You probably don't want to have a very heavy meal before going in for a workout. And so having something that's like a light snack or light meal is usually ideal, especially if you're not getting up many hours before your morning workout. If you're trying to get up and get to it pretty quickly, then keep it very simple. Some of my favorite options all include the well-rounded approach to having some protein, fats, and carbs in them. And some of the things that are quick to prepare and easy to digest for the morning include making smoothies or shakes, or having some fruit and yogurt, or also you can include some protein powder into something like oatmeal. All of these are great options, great places to start from. Go with what works for you, for your digestion and your meal preferences and whatever goes along with your nutrition plan right now. But don't try to overcomplicate things. Just have something that's easy and ready to go for you. So you probably have some sense of what goals you are approaching your morning workouts with. So I suggest you just trust your gut. Go with whatever option, whether you're going to eat before your workout or avoid eating before your workout. Start off with whatever you think will work best for you and just adjust if necessary. That's the easiest approach to actually figuring out what'll work for you long term and help with your performance. So if you need more tips on how to start a morning workout routine, check out this video here. Or if you want to dig deeper into training and recovery on how you can improve your performance even further, there's a playlist that I'll link here that you can check out next. Thanks as always for watching the video, and until the next one, dream on and find your flow.